the H-1B visa is subject to a numerical cap. What can you do if you don't get selected in the H-1B visa lottery? So hey everybody, in today's video, we're going to explore several alternatives. I think you're going to get some good value in this video, so make sure to stick around. As you may know, in many cases, the H-1B visa is subject to a numerical cap. And so the way the process works is that if you are subject to the cap, you'd have to enter into the annual H-1B visa lottery. Then people are selected in the lottery, and several people, a much larger percentage, are not selected in the lottery. What can these people do? Well, the US immigration system offers several non-immigrant visa and immigrant visa options. So we're going to explore some of those. So the first visa that I want to talk about is the O1 visa. The O1 visa, it's a non-immigrant visa for somebody that has an extraordinary ability in a particular field. So it's very important to determine if you're eligible for an O1 visa, and oftentimes it's very beneficial to have your unique credentials evaluated by an immigration attorney. So you might be wondering, how do I demonstrate if I have an extraordinary ability in my field? Well, there's two ways. One way is to demonstrate a one-time major internationally recognized award like the Nobel Peace Prize or like an Oscar or a Grammy. That can be one way. But for most, that doesn't apply. The good news is there's an alternative way to demonstrate that you have an extraordinary ability. And that is by demonstrating that you satisfy 3 out of a list of evidentiary criteria. Again, there's several different criteria that one can qualify under, but just to name some, one is evidence of high remuneration in your field, like high compensation. One is evidence of receipt of lesser awards. One is membership in certain organizations or associations. One is evidence that you've judged the works of others. And there's many other criteria in this list of criteria. And to demonstrate that you have an extraordinary ability, you'd have to demonstrate that you satisfy at least 3 out of that list of criteria. So that's the O1 visa. And the benefit of the O1 visa, when contrasting it from H1B visas that are subject to the numerical cap, is that the O1 visa is not subject to some sort of a lottery process where you have to enter into a lottery at a particular time and only some people get selected and others are omitted. There is no such cap for the O1 visa. So somebody could potentially apply, assuming that they qualify, year-round. And again, they're not going to be excluded based on failure to meet some sort of a lottery system. So for that reason, the O1 can be a viable solution for somebody that did not get selected in the H-1B visa lottery, assuming that they qualify. Moving on to option number 2, we're going to talk about the L1 visa. The L1 visa is also a non-immigrant visa, and it is a visa which allows a foreign company to transfer either a manager, an executive, or a specialized knowledge worker to work for a related US company. So these two companies, the foreign company and the US company, must have some sort of a qualifying relationship, such as a parent-subsidiary style relationship. So if you didn't get selected in the H-1B visa lottery, but you may qualify for an L1 visa, it might be a good solution. Now, similar to O1, the L1 is not time-bound based on a lottery system that you have to enter into at a particular time of the year. And similarly, the L1 does not exclude certain candidates for failure to be selected in the lottery. So for that reason, it can be a very valuable alternative. Now, it's very important that an individual satisfies all the requirements for L1 in order to have a viable chance of approval. So it's very important to make sure that you satisfy the various requirements. To name a few, for L1, you must have worked for the foreign company for at least 1 year with full-time continuous employment over the last 3 years as either a manager, executive, or specialized knowledge worker. Similarly, you must be coming to the US to work for a US company that has a qualifying relationship with the foreign company, and you must be coming to work as either a manager, executive, or specialized knowledge worker. There's more requirements as well, but that's just a high-level overview. So again, for the right candidate, this can be a very strong alternative to H-1B. Now moving on, option number 3 is a Cap-exempt H-1B. Now, what this means is that certain employers are exempt from the numerical caps on H-1B visas, such as certain institutions of higher education like colleges or universities, and certain nonprofit organization. So if you have a job offer from a prospective employer that is exempt from the H-1B visa cap, then this could also be a viable alternative if you're not selected in the H-1B visa lottery. Now, option number 4, again, this can potentially be relevant to you if you're outside of the United States or if you're inside of the United States. It's very specific to your particular situation, but you may wish to advance your education in the United States through an F1 student visa. So for many people, this can be a great opportunity to advance and bolster their credentials. Moving on to option number 5, it's the E2 investor visa. Now, this is different than an H1B visa. It's an investor visa. It's for somebody that wants to invest in their own business in the United States or purchase an existing business in the United States. And through making an investment, they can be eligible to operate their business in the US. There's various advantages to the E2 visa. Among them, it can be renewed over and over again, assuming that the individual continues to satisfy the E2 visa requirements. To qualify for an E2 visa, among other requirements, you must be a citizen of a country that has an E2 treaty with the United States. Not all countries have E2 treaties with the United States, so it's very important to determine whether you are a citizen of a country that has a qualifying treaty. So again, that's a high-level overview of the E2 visa. And I want to move on to the final option that we're going to cover in today's video. Not to say that this list is a complete list. There's, again, the US immigration system has several different immigration options to consider, but for purposes of this video, the last option that we're going to discuss in today's video is either EB-1A or EB-2 national interest waiver. So these two options are actually immigrant visa options, meaning that they eventually result in lawful permanent residence, a green card to the United States. And they're both avenues where somebody can self-petition for their green card, meaning that they do not require a US employer to file a petition on their behalf. EB-1A is for individuals that can demonstrate that they have an extraordinary ability in their field, sort of similar to the O1, which we talked about earlier. And EB-2 national interest waiver is for certain people that can demonstrate, among other things, that they will be performing work in the United States that's in the national interest, such as cancer research or AI development in certain contexts, or certain forms of cybersecurity or other sort of interests that can be demonstrated to be in the US national interest. And again, this is just a very high-level overview, and there's much more detail to be discussed about these various options, but I just wanted you to be aware of it because it's very interesting in this context of H-1B alternatives when we come across individuals that didn't get selected in the H-1B visa lottery and they find out that they're actually eligible and are a great candidate for one of these other options like EB-1A or EB-2 national interest waiver. So there you have it. We covered several different options for alternatives for those that didn't get selected in the H-1B visa lottery. Hope you got a lot of value from this video. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this video, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. If you're not yet a subscriber to our channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Again, as always, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next video.